We're on. We're on because I screwed it up. I don't know what I did.
Would you cut the intro short?
I cut the intro short. You know what? 3, 2, 1. Play it again. Jesus. I'm an idiot. Sorry, Jimbo.
That's all right. I want to see Bledsoe to Bobo again.
You love the Bledsoe to Bobo, don't you?
I do.
Never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
You know what?
And TJ Davis must have been running the wrong route, or somebody was.
And I got a surprise for you because it's a Friday.
You have voicemails?
We do have one. Ready?
Okay.
This is for you because it's a Friday. Okay.
God, you know what, Puck? I miss voicemails.
It's a Friday. Never not funny.
I can't breathe. No. I think she's actually hurt.
Wait for it.
I think she is. Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Okay. Gosh, I hope she's okay.
Nah, she was never okay, Brad. Never, ever okay. It gets me every time is the youch.
Did you ever find out what city that was from?
No. It's actually no. I don't know what city that's from. That's
Probably small town somewhere.
Probably. But that's a good idea. Now you know what? I need to go track that down. God, if I was one of these feature writers, these the hunter or not hunter, but what's the guy? Wright Thompson. I would track that.
Yeah.
I would track that woman down.
Yeah.
Just to do like a look back on just everything. She became one of the greatest. That's not a meme, but greatest videos of all time on YouTube. It's like over millions and millions of people have viewed that.
What do you think she's doing?
I don't know. I think I did read like a one story on her that she got out of it. She got out of TV because idiots like me kept playing it.
You can't ever recover from that.
I don't think you can ever recover from that. No. I think once you get branded something like that or labeled like that, I think it's over. It's like the kid, remember the college kid, was the Indiana State, the boom goes the dynamite. That guy. I mean, how do you ever? But that guy was great. I mean, because that was so awesome because like what we're doing right now, anything that you do live can be terrifying because when stuff hits the fan, you don't know what to do. And especially when you're 19, college TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the great lady would be impressed if she heard that you play that every single day for the last however many years to start your show?
I think she would. I think she would. Yeah, I think she'd look back and go, "Why?"
Thank you for that. Really appreciate you mocking me and making fun of me every single day of your career.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm not mocking her. I play
Yes,
it for.
you are.
No, I'm not. I play it for one reason and one reason only. Just so when they go back to the studio and the one gal and she goes, "Youch." It's the only reason. That's the thing that makes me laugh the most is when she go back to her and she goes, "Ooh, I hope she's okay." And, youch. It's simple things.
I know
that
it's
make
bad
me laugh.
karma, though. Don't you worry about the karma from that? Because you talk about, you're going live and you're all excited about doing this live. I mean, you might have some major screw up because of you mocking her over the years.
Well, I'm not going to go stomp grapes on a stage.
No, I know, but you might do, like you might have Enter Sandman for the wrong interview, that kind of thing.
I've done that I've done it 1,000 times. You laugh it off. Hey, Joey Blunt, what's louder? Seahawks Stadium or when you guys came out to Enter Sandman? Silence. Well, I went to Virginia. You don't say.
I was so happy at that moment.
Oh, you loved it more than
I think I had to put my mute button on because I was laughing so hard.
Not a good teammate.
I've never seen you turn that red before. Because you were so proud of yourself with that first question.
Oh, just so proud.
So proud. Like, God, I did my research and I'm really going to have a good one. And
no, he's never been asked this before. That's right. He's never been asked that before, you idiot.
Ty France, another all-timer. That was great.
That wasn't our fault. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna claim.
Yeah, that was your fault.
Nope. Anyone that
you had a Caddyshack line. You asked a Caddyshack line to
he
a guy
should know
that's
that.
in his 20s. He's in his 20s.
He was 30 years old. He should know that. He should know the line from Caddyshack. It's an American classic. That's not on me. That's an error on France. That's France not being a red-blooded American male, not to watch one of the greatest movies ever produced. That's on Ty France. Sorry, not going to own that up. Not going to own up to that one.
Well, I mean, have you seen Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah. I'm
okay,
I'm
but
not
most
a,
people,
I'm not
like
a,
most
I'm
people,
not an idiot.
most people
here.
my age have heard of Gone with the Wind, but if I had some sort of Gone with the Wind reference to anybody in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they'd like, Gone with the Wind. Who the hell is Clark Gable?
No one would ever do a Gone
and so,
with the
like,
Wind
I always try,
reference.
like, when I write or talk, I try and keep that in mind that, hey, Jim, whatever you think, somebody will relate to. Like, Kathy was talking about Green Acres the other day. Well, actually yesterday. Do you remember the show Green Acres?
No, I gotta remember. I'm much younger than you. I know it was a TV show.
Yes. Okay, Eddie Albert, and it was either Ava Gabor or Zsa Zsa Gabor. Do you remember the Gabor twins?
No, I do not.
They were hot as hell. Well, anyway, so the whole deal is that Eddie Albert wanted to live like where I am right now in Madrid, elbow room, out in the big, wide open. And Gabor, his wife, stop snoring. I'm going to make a point here. She likes the city life, and yet they're married and they're trying to figure it all out. Well, it's exactly what we're doing right now. Like, shit, I want to live out in the Tules, man. I want to live out in the rural area. And Kathy's like, oh no, I need the city life. I want a small yard.
Are you done yet?
That really wasn't that long of a story.
I know. I just
wanted to play it. Podcast form. It's podcast radio, so it's not. We don't have to worry about going to commercial. God, you do have to worry about. You do have to worry about listeners and viewers leaving, though, getting bored as shit during that story. But I would say that story was probably only 45 seconds.
Yeah.
What else did you have?
Nothing.
Like, what do you got?
I got lots of stuff. I got lots of
what?
stuff.
Do your Limback lumber thing. What are you doing? You haven't even done that yet.
Well, because I'm talking to you. Of course, we're in the PuckSports studios. We do the daily puck drop every single day. If you're just joining us, YouTube, X. We're going live every day now at 10 a.m. PuckSports studios, built by Limback Lumber. They offer free deliveries from everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY packages or projects, I should say. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Call Limback Lumber 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. If you snap that QR code, it's going to take you right to Limback Lumber. Look at that beautiful sign behind me. Designed by Gary Rogers Sr., the father of Gary Rogers, the one-time WSU quarterback. Go Cougs.
Yeah, I'm fired up.
Well, you got me nervous. You got me nervous as hell, and I blame you, and I'm so mad at you because earlier this week I was like, there's no letdown. San Jose State blows, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, no, letdown. It's going to be a letdown game. And then I'm like, maybe Jim is right. Maybe I should I'm just going to pull up some San Jose highlights. Then I pull up the San Jose highlights, and they haven't beaten anyone. Although it did catch my attention they beat Air Force because Air Force is always kind of a sneaky good team, right? And then I'm watching these.
Yeah, Air Force kind of handled us in the bowl game, if you recall.
Oh, God. That was miserable. Was that the Holiday Bowl? Right?
I don't think
Didn't
so.
we go back to back?
It was a lower rent bowl, I think.
Okay. And then I'm flipping on the highlights of the old Spartans down there because then Dickert this week. That's the best Bay Area team in the last 4 years. I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. Cal just went in and beat Auburn. I mean, Cal's probably pretty good. And then I flip it on this offense, and it's the old Navy coach. So then I'm expecting the triple option. No, they spread it out, run like the air raid. And this Emmett Brown, who's the former Wazoo, he was on the Cougs last year, freshman. He's the starting quarterback there. And Jesus, Jim. I mean, they are flying that ball all around the place. They got this big 6'3" wide receiver that, what did you say? He's got like damn near 500 yards. They can move the ball. So then I'm going down a rabbit hole watching Spartan highlights the last two nights, and I'm petrified because all the goodwill they've earned here in the last week, beating the Huskies. We're fat and happy. Dickert's doing every interview in the world. He's talking. He's on Canzano. I don't know if you saw this, and kind of complaining about, well, the coaches don't want to rank us for some reason. I don't know why the coaches don't want to rank them. That was kind of an odd comment by Jake, but when we talk to him next week, I'm going to ask him.
Why don't you tell him that on the next Coug Corner?
Well, it's odd though. I will.
I'll open with that and see how it goes.
Why would the coaches not want him in the top 25?
Yeah, I thought it was odd too. I
Why?
was trying to figure out what the reason was behind that. Like if I'm a coach of, say, Nebraska, if I'm a coach at Nebraska, I would think that most coaches would want to vote for us because they kind of like our story. The little train that could, the underdog that's trying to beat the odds. Yeah.
Anyways, we went through this last year. They're 4-0. They beat the Beavs. I remember being at that game. It was one of the greatest. It was great. Everyone's the sun's out. We're gonna go to UCLA. We're gonna beat the shit out of UCLA, and then it just what did we lose? 7 straight.
That UCLA game, I look back on. We still could have won that. Remember, we had the ball and we were down 8.
Yeah, we didn't. I think didn't win.
Yeah. No, I know we didn't win. That was a game that Gushikin had the long receptor interception.
Love myself some Gushikin. So now you got me all worried about the game tonight. So I don't like it.
You should be concerned about this game. And you know me with intangibles and gambling.
God,
this is the classic. This is the granddaddy of all time sandwich games, let down spots. You just came off. I mean, you were all fired up for the Apple Cup. We all were fired up.
Emotional high.
We won the game.
Yeah.
Next week we're playing Boise State, and they've got Boise State penciled into this college football playoff. They got that great running back. And it's on the road. We know it's a big game next week. This game, San Jose State. And granted, you're talking about a 3-0 San Jose State team. You've laid out the offense that they have. They have 10 takeaways, too, on defense through 3 games. And yet, come on, don't we all kind of go, San Jose State? And so you get into the minds of these 18 and 19-year-olds. San Jose State, I mean, it's not like UCLA's coming to town. Although if UCLA was coming to town this year with that doofus of a coach they have,
I'd be a lot more confident. I'll tell you that.
I know I would too.
That guy's a wreck. That guy's going to last.
I know, but
Deshaun Foster's going to last a year.
You think when Dickert's talking to his team, like it's easy to get the team's attention last week. It'll be easy next week. This week they're probably going, well, we're home. It's a Friday night game. It'll be fun, but we'll just show up and win. But no, I'm worried about it. I still bet us at 12.5 or whatever, but I don't even care if I lose my money tonight. I've only got like $50 on it. What I really like is the over in this game, Puck. It's 55.
55.
I think they're going to be going up and down on the field on each other.
Okay, save this stuff later. We're going to get to this. We're going to get to your smoke and lock of the week and Jim's picks. Jim is in Madras, Oregon, on the side of a road. He's heading to Pullman for Dad's weekend. Coming up for the Cougs. His wife, Kathy's in the car sleeping. And so they've pulled off on the side of the road. He won't be here for
It's not the side of the road. I'm at Juniper Hills Park. Look at this place.
Okay. He's
awesome.
He's not going to be here for Troy Wins' visit coming up at 10:45. It's lovely. It's a grass field. Well,
why don't you bring up to Troy that he was 1-5 last week and see how that goes?
Okay,
like you do the Inner Sandman thing when you bring on Troy Wins. Hey, TroyWins.com. Hey, go see TroyWins.com. He's 1-5 last week, but slow starter. Something like that.
We're trying to promote him, and he's giving away a great trip. You still have time, by the way, viewers, to sign up for Puck the Picker. Pick 'em up at PuckSports.com. You're behind the 8 ball because you've missed a week, but you can get back in. And if you get wins, you can stack wins. It's against the spread, giving away a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, all expenses paid for the first round of March Madness. Can we just get to the?
By the way, excuse me. I'm ripping a guy that I owe $20 to because I took the Beavers in 16. And they just got walloped by the Ducks. So
the Ducks killed. Can we get
TroyWins.com? I owe him $20.
Let's get to the biggest story of the day, can we? Let's just get to the biggest story last night, which was just phenomenal. What this guy did, Shohei Ohtani.
Sends one in the air, the other way, back it goes,
Unbelievable.
One of a kind player. season, Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Unbelievable. Shohei, he was 6 for 6 with 3 home runs. He drove in 10. He now has created the 50-50 club. Joe Davis on the call there for Sportsnet LA. I just thought it was a great call. I thought it was a great call by Joe. He clearly had something in his mind that he was going to say before, which, you know, most everyone does. And I love the call there from Davis. I love the fact that he got out. He called it and then got out of it. That's what I love the most about it. But Ohtani, I don't. What else do you say for Ohtani? That's the greatest single game in Major League Baseball history. There is no debate on that one. And he's starting to pile it up now. Well, we're going to talk about, if not now, when he's done, is he the greatest player of all time? And it's going to be a great debate. It's going to go forever. There's going to be the detractors, right, Jim? They're going to say, well, he didn't really play a position. So, you know, Willie Mays is that guy because he played and did all that. No one is doing what he's doing. And I understand they've changed the rules with the stolen bases, so it's easier to steal bases now. And Ricky Henderson is probably going, oh, really? You put these rules in, I would have stolen like 300. I would have had like 300 in like a season. But this is just, it's just stupid. It's stupid what he's doing.
I'm with you, Puck. And when I first saw that last night on Twitter, I had to look at it twice to make sure I was reading that it wasn't just, you know, during the series. That's what he did against Miami. And I love the quote that Gavin Lux had, the second baseman for the Dodgers. He was talking about, and like what you just said, never seen anyone do that, even in Little League. You know, I mean, you think about that. Little League, you might do that, but that doesn't happen in Little League. We're watching the greatest player to ever play the game. That's what his teammates said. And I think for me, it's always been Griffey. And then, you know, Willie Mays a close second.
Yeah.
But I think Ohtani, especially when you consider that he's a really good pitcher, too, that just isn't pitching this year.
He's a number 1. He's an ace. He's a Cy Young Award winner. Wait, he's won a Cy Young Award, right?
I don't know about that, but his career ERA is 3.01, and in 2022, his ERA was 2.33. I mean, come on. This guy can do it all. And what's cool about it, his manager, Dave Roberts, mentioning it, how humble he is. He's humble. Yeah.
You love humble.
I do love humble. There's not enough humble in the world for me. I want more humble. That's why I don't like one of the presidential candidates. There's no humble there. Okay.
Great. Here we go. Well, now people are turning off. Jesus. We're not political.
No, but really, Puck, is there a humble bone in that guy's body? No, I don't think so. Okay. You want me to change the subject? Sorry.
Yeah, move on, please.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. And then the other thing with Ohtani.
Here we go. Jesus. You sheep. I
know.
It's coming.
I am a fucking sheep. I don't care. When it comes to that guy, I'm a sheep. All right.
Has he won a Cy Young?
Okay.
No, I don't think he has won a Cy Young. I thought he did.
But the other thing that occurred to me about Ohtani, and I know it occurred to you. Why didn't the Mariners just go all in to sign him? Why? I mean, it's like, what a no-brainer that was to do that.
Do you want me to tell you?
Not just what he's doing on the field, what he could add on the mound once his injury is over, but the whole marketing, that whole thing, what they would have made, you know, from jersey sales and everything else. It's just stupid that they weren't involved in that.
Well, I mean, do you want me to tell you why? Can I even do this? I'm going to share my screen, okay? Are you ready for this? This is going to either be a hit or a disaster, all right? You want to know why they didn't get him? Would you like to know why?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There he is. That's why. Because he owns the team.
Well, you got to have all the other owners' pictures too, don't you?
Well, we don't, because no one knows who they are. I can't find Chris Larson because when he's not owning the Mariners, he's below a bridge somewhere.
But wouldn't $700 million for 10 years been worth it for a guy that can do that on the field?
We were talking last night at the Inner Bay Eagles football practice as we gear up for Cedar Park Christian tomorrow. Eagles. Double-digit dogs, I think, in this game tomorrow.
No. You were last week to Mount Si or whoever the hell it was.
No, that was Eastside Catholic last week. Cedar Park. Cedar Park's a tough one. It's a you know who leads that program, the whole thing, the whole like football program over there at Cedar Park Christian. We've talked about.
Do they have an academic institute there?
They may.
In
It's
Redmond
old Butch
for that?
Gontroff. Old Butch runs the whole thing. It's a disciplined football team. Cedar Park. They're going to come get us tomorrow. But we're going to be ready for them. The Eagles are going to be ready for them.
He's probably got 9-year-olds in his feeder program at that institute. You know, kind of grooming them for that.
I don't know that and at all. Stop it.
I just amuse myself with that. Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, of course. Well, we were talking about last night during practice. And it was like, how much, you know, one of the coaches like, how much is he getting? I'm like, well, $700 million. And he's like, I go, that's a bargain too. It's a bargain what they're paying him. He's $1 billion player, maybe worth more than $1 billion of what he means.
Plus, didn't he do something with his contract to make it team friendly, kind of where he?
No, it's not team friend. Well, it's team friendly, but it's Shohei friendly. He's deferred all of his money. He's getting paid $1 million, so he doesn't have to pay. So he's doing it. So he doesn't have to pay taxes in California. Smart.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, but I'm just saying that's really smart what he did.
So do we just kind of forget about all that gambling stuff with his interpreter and all that now?
Oh, the fact that he was gambling on games and then he made his interpreter take the fall for him? Yeah, I think we look past that. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm willing to look past that. I'm also willing to believe with Shohei Ohtani, I'm willing to believe that he had nothing to do with any of that.
Oh, sure. You want to believe that too? Go ahead. You know, there's a sandy 75, degree beach in Alaska then too.
So do you think if he was an average player that he might have been suspended?
Yes. Here's the thing. Okay. I respect him more because he's one of us. He's a degenerate gambler. And I respect him even more.
I like to think I'm naive. I don't care. I like to think that he wasn't aware of what was going on.
I think he's going to get home tonight. Whenever they're done playing, I think he's going to kick his feet up with his dog, which is the best dog ever. And he's going to look and he's going to flip on the CW network tonight. And he's got the Cougs -12. And he's going to look over at his wife, go Cougs.
His dog is the coolest dog ever.
Oh,
how he trained him to throw out that first pitch.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I think you're right about all that. He's going to kick his feet up, and he's going to have the Spartans +12.5 because he knows it's a letdown spot.
God, stop with that. You've got me more nervous for tonight's game than I was last week for the.
Now, why aren't you coming tonight? Is it because of the Eagles game tomorrow?
Inter Bay Eagles got an early game at 11, so 7 o'clock game. Yeah, that's a turnaround. It's a quick turnaround. Plus, it's Dad's weekend, or what?
I'm giving you a hard weekend. I'm giving you a hard time, and you gave me free tickets, but apparently I'm a better Coug than you are because I'm going to the game tonight.
Yeah, but you don't ever pay me money for them, so. This is the third time I've given you free tickets, and then you don't even sit in the seats I give you.
Yeah, but you don't pay me shit for what I'm doing for the podcast here.
Yeah, I'm continuing to make you relevant, so I think that's payment enough.
Oh, and that's always been really important to me.
Are you going to actually sit in the seats
based on my
tonight?
Political comments, I've just become irrelevant to half of your listeners.
Maybe more. Have you ever...
No, the polls say it's half-half, right? Isn't it 50-50?
Have you ever sat in the seats that I've given you? Have you ever once? No, not one time. Why? No. You'd love it over there. It's a great spot.
Because my buddies are on the 40 and you're on the 20?
15.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that watching from the 40-yard line is a better view than the 15.
Yeah, but you got the guy behind you that every time Mateer makes a play goes, "Fear, Mateer!"
Is that where you got it? I thought you made that up.
No, it's the guy that sits behind me that does it. He's the one who did the Borgie chant. Every time Borgie would get a handoff and go over like 5 yards, he'd be like, "Borgie, Borgie, Borgie." And everyone would be like, "Oi, oi, oi." And he just did it all game long. And now he does a fear Mateer. And then when Mateer scores a touchdown, he goes, "Crack a beer." And then everyone says for John Mateer. It's just, whatever.
Oh, that's pretty good. Why don't we do some T-shirts? Why don't we sell some T-shirts?
If you go over there, talk to him. He sits in 2 rows behind you. I
don't want to talk to him. Let's just steal his idea.
We're not going to steal his idea. It's because it's his. He came up with it. You got to give him.
Okay, well, let's share in the profits with him. We're on the verge of becoming America's team, just like you think we are anyway.
We are America's team.
Well, not quite yet.
Yes, we are. Always have been.
Well, yeah, maybe. If we win tonight and we win at Boise State,
I've already chalked
That
up
bye
Boise
week,
as a
that
loss.
bye week can maybe be really fun because we'll be 5-0 and we'll be ranked 15th in the country, probably, maybe even 12th if we win the next two games.
They're not going to be that high. No.
Why?
Because they're not even in the top 25 yet. I don't think beating San Jose State and then that's not going to get them in the top 25.
Yeah.
And then if they beat Boise, they maybe crack it. They're like 23.
Yeah, I think we'll be higher than that.
Okay,
you see, I couldn't believe it. I
smell a bet?
think it was
you smell a bet.
I think. Yeah, I'll say we're higher than 23rd. What did you say?
I say
if we win the next two,
they'll be like 23rd.
We'll be higher than 23rd.
This is a sucker bet for me. So go ahead. What do you want? $50?
$100.
Okay, $100.
We'll be ranked higher than which poll? AP.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that. You pick. I don't care. Coaches or AP. What do you want? Let's go AP for Tim Booth.
Okay, AP.
Okay, AP poll. All right, there we go. $100. You got me nervous tonight, so we'll get Inter Bay Eagles finish practice tonight. Then at about 6:30, then I'm going to run on over back home and sit down and get all nervous to watch the old Cougs tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'll be nervous too, and I'll be sitting up with my buddies. But thanks for the free tickets. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Can you upgrade next year and get a little bit better?
Sure.
Closer to the 50.
You think maybe the money that you're saving on the tickets, which I could have sold for a pretty good amount since it's Dad's weekend, maybe give it back to the school? You ever think about that, or just? Maybe?
Well, I signed up for the 1890 club last week. Ooh. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Like $230 for the year.
Yeah, that's what you should have given.
That's more than I've donated in the past.
That's true. That is true. Let's switch gears. The old Geno Smith, because I'm kind of bored with what you're talking about with your seats and not paying me.
Well, why do you have me on?
Sometimes I wonder why. I don't know.
I do too.
Hey, you know what's getting crazy with this? It's only 2 games with Geno, but you know what? The talk is already now that listen, Geno. This is the contract year for Geno. He's coming out, the disrespect, and he's going to put up this monster season. He's going to want to get paid. And the thing I was thinking about, watching just a little bit of the quarterback play last night. You're watching New England and Rodgers and they beat New England and all that. But like for Geno Smith, just how and I remember hearing this from Hugh all the time, and he's just so right, and it's obvious. The finding a quarterback in this league is so damn hard. It's just so hard to find a starting quarterback who's like really good and like a franchise quarterback. And I don't think Geno's a franchise quarterback. And I know everyone gets offended when you say that, but I just
still think that.
I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. No. But there's very few franchise quarterbacks to me though. Like game
how many? What do you think? 5?
I mean, I'm talking like Mahomes, and I know Burrow's banged up, but Joe Burrow's in that category. Rodgers in his heydays in that category. Is he not in that category now? Franchise delivering quarterbacks. There's not
Josh Allen. You don't put him up there.
No, I do put Josh Allen in there. I do. Yeah, I don't think Geno's
Herbert. You on board with Herbert yet?
I don't think Herbert's there yet. He can be though. He's close. I don't think he's there yet. But I just don't think that Geno's there. But that doesn't mean that he's not a good quarterback. And he's gonna this year. Well, first of all, he's gonna win me another bet with you. So that's great. And then, but 2, he's gonna make himself some money because if he keeps playing like this, his agents, which again, we Garafolo told you on this show a month and a half ago that they went to him asking for a new deal. Then, of course, everyone shoots it down. Schneider, no, there was no talk about it. And then, thank God for Geno, when he goes up to the podium, says, "Oh yeah, we reached out, we tried to get a deal." But they're gonna call him again. If he goes through another few more games, they're gonna give it more than just 2 games. But if he keeps playing this way as they get towards the end of the year, I mean, his price is going to keep going up and up and up. And he's not that old. I think sometimes we think he's 40. He's 34.
Was he 34?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you told somebody 3 years ago that, hey, you know what? I'll bet 3 years from now in 2024 that Geno Smith will be head and shoulders above Russell Wilson as a quarterback. Everybody would have laughed you off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell can't even, he can't hold his jock strap anymore, whatever that saying is. I mean, it's just the difference between Geno and Russell used to be like this with Russell,
Yeah.
and now it's like this with Geno. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
just,
I'm happy for the guy. I'm really happy for him. I think it's great. It's fun to watch him play. And you think about, especially with Ryan Grubb as a new offensive coordinator and the possibilities that he has. Geno throws a nice deep ball, and, seeing JSN and Metcalf, the game they had. The thing you have to keep in mind, though, is the Seahawks have really played two teams that suck really bad. I mean, they're supposed to win 4 games, I think, the over-under win total for both Denver and New England. So let's see, like, when they play. And Miami's defense, though, not all that great. I was
Miami's offense.
I was doing a shallow dive on research. I wasn't doing a deep dive.
You didn't
I only
do
took
the deep dive.
I just
on the
did,
Dolphins.
I Google and I went Miami defensive stats and I looked at some of them. They're not really all that impressive. No interceptions through 2 games, just 3 sacks. So it could be another big day for the Seahawks. Although
their offense hasn't done anything. They're 28th in points scored this season. I mean, they're 8th in total yards, but they're not scoring any points. And I was reading an article from Barry Jackson, who covers the team for the Miami Herald, and this is an issue just not this year for Miami. It's an issue that goes back to last year. They have 5 straight games where they have not eclipsed 20 points or have not eclipsed above 20 points. So, and they don't know why. This is what led. I don't know if you saw it. This is what led the rant. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. No, the rant by Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper wants to outlaw the 2 high safety in the NFL.
Oh, okay.
Because it's making it harder for offenses to score points and move the ball. This is like the baseball debate, and so he wants to get rid of the 2 high safety look. Okay.
Well.
Run
Is
the
that
ball.
going to happen? Is there any chance of that happening?
Happen. Well, I mean, I don't want to say there's no chance.
Well, didn't Rodgers kind of spoof him a little bit last night? His post-game comments. I think Rodgers said something about that.
Well, run the ball. If they're playing 2 safeties back there, run the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's.
And then Kiper was ripping the Panthers too for Bryce Young's struggles. I mean,
well.
Okay.
Well, I just think but so again, it's a trend that goes back to the last year as well, where they just aren't scoring enough points. And again, Barry Jackson, the article in the Miami Herald, go check it out, is that it's just they don't know what to do. It's like Waddle and Hill don't know what to do. They want to run the ball with Achane, but then they don't want to just kill Achane because it's not that big to give him the ball. And then Tua's going to be out and Skylar Thompson's coming in. So I mean, I think Seattle should win this game, and it should be not a relatively easy game, but they are lucky with how the schedule has played out. And you mentioned the opponents. I mean, look at the opponents so far. These are the points per game for the teams that they have played so far. The Broncos are averaging 13 points a game, 29th in the league. The Patriots are tied with them at 29 at 13 as well. The Dolphins are averaging 15, which is 28th. After they play the Lions, when they play the Giants before the Niners, the Giants are averaging 12. 31st in the league. I mean, so they have lucked out of this early portion of the schedule.
God, I bet on the Patriots last night too. What a stupid move that was.
Well, that
was one of those. Once again, Puck, I went against the public. You know how I always like to do that. You go against the public.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you always do that. And then the Dolphins got, they got a bunch of injuries. They got injuries everywhere. Their defense is a little bit banged up. I know the Taron Armstead, their left tackle, is going to play, but he's banged up. Their offensive line hasn't been good this year. I mean, they've got, what was the stat that I saw? They 10 false starts, combined 10 false starts and holding penalties. It's the most in the league. So their offensive line is a mess. So this will be a game on Sunday. Who's off? Come on down. Whose offensive line is worse? Should be a fun
why is the line only 4.5 in favor of Seattle? You want to know why? I'll tell you why.
Oh, you tell me why. Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. Okay. It's Mr. Intangibles again.
Okay, Mr. Intangibles.
Okay, now because the assumption is that because Tua's out and you got Skylar Thompson in, and here he is, this backup quarterback from Kansas State making a start at Lumen Field. The 12s will be going nuts. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Seahawk. They're celebrating their 26th wedding anniversary today. And so they'll be, Even
All
though they're
dressed
in
up.
their 50s, you know, Sunday morning they'll be getting up and putting makeup on and just doing ridiculous shit like that. But I mean, congratulations to them anyway. But okay, so Skylar Thompson's coming in. Okay,
Yeah.
do we think that Mike McDaniel's a good coach? I don't know if he is or not, but he sure seems like it when he's at the podium. I mean, he's that nerdy looking guy that just
Okay.
seems smart as hell. He's going to devise a game plan that's going to best suit Skylar Thompson. They're going to run the ball control, keep it away from Seattle. I know that's all stuff you hear everywhere else. But the other thing to keep in mind is that clearly it's a downgrade. Go ahead, get the Oscars music ready to play. You got that ready to go?
It's getting close.
Clearly it's a downgrade from Tua to Skylar Thompson, which is
Really?
everybody already knows that.
Huh,
But
did you hold on, viewer? Did you know that it's a downgrade from Tua to Skylar Thompson? If you didn't know that, make sure today at work you go around and tell all your friends. Hey, I was watching this live show, the Daily Puck Drop with Jim Moore and Jason Puckett, and this old guy who was sitting outside of a park said, "Hey, one of the keys is it's going to be a downgrade to go from Tua to Skylar Thompson."
Yeah, you're correct. That is what I said. But you know what? You know who else knows it's a downgrade? The Miami Dolphins players themselves. And here's what happens. Okay, watch how it plays out on Sunday. Tell me I'm wrong on Monday. You can if you want. I don't give a shit. You know, I don't really care about much of anything anymore. I'm retired. There was a guy yelling at me last night that I worked. One of my coworkers was yelling at me, and I'm like, "Hey, man, fuck you! Like, what are you yelling at me for? I'm trying to get this guy to go to a different line, and you're wanting me to, you know, like grab somebody's eyeglasses case, and I'm not hearing you because I'm distracted over here. It's like, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm just here making $20 an hour, you know, trying to let people into this Sturgill Simpson concert or whatever.
Oh, Sturgill Simpson was playing in Bend?
Yeah, 7,000 people coming out to see this guy.
Did you listen to him?
No, Kathy was sick, so I had to take her home.
Oh, you missed out. You missed
He's
out.
a country guy, right?
Yeah, country blues. You missed out on a real treat, my friend. Yeah, a real treat.
But yeah, the guy was yelling at me. I was like, "Stop yelling!" But where was I? Oh,
I don't know. What does this have to do with Skylar Thompson and
here's
the
what
intangibles?
happened. In the long term, like Miami's season is shot with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. Okay, everybody knows that too.
Sure.
But keep this in mind. In the short term, what happens when a player of his magnitude is injured and another player has to come in, the rest of the team knows, like, oh my God, we have to play above what we normally play at for us to have a chance to win this game. And so early on, I think, you know, they're going to be sparked by that. Like, they're going to rally together. I picture Miami maybe winning this game because it looks really improbable, but Vegas is going, hey, not so fast. I mean, look at this. They're only getting 4.5 in this game. That looks like too good to be true to lay the 4.5 with the Seahawks. Don't do it. I'm all over Miami in this game.
Okay, you got. Let's get to your picks though. Jim's picks. I want to get your smoking lock of the week. Your smoking more lock of the week. All right. So we already know what you're taking. You're taking the Dolphins plus the 4.5.
I'm taking the Dolphins in the 4.5.
Okay, the Dolphins plus 4.5. All right. I almost kind of want to do a side bet on this one with you.
Let's go 50 on that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take the Seahawks minus the 4.5 against you. All right. What do you like in the Washington game? Huskies getting 12. Huskies favored by 12 against Northwestern. The start of Big Ten play.
I'm just betting with my heart on this one. So I want Northwestern to win, and so I'm going to take the points with the Wildcats. And I want it to be a really rude welcome to the Big Ten, served up by the Northwestern Wildcats there at Husky Stadium.
But going with your heart here, because I can flip it around on you on the intangibles.
I don't know anything about Northwestern. I just want them to win.
Okay,
that's all.
Okay. I think the intangible thing is Washington's upset about the game last week. They're going to come out and they're going to boat race this team. So I would take Washington minus the 12. I know where you're at with the Cougs. You're a bad fan because you're betting against them. You're taking San Jose State plus the 12.
I bet honest, but if I was going to bet a lot of money, I would take San Jose State tonight. You're right.
I say it's a late score for the Cougs. Maybe I think they pull away. I think they cover that spread. I want your thoughts on this one before I get whatever your lock is. All right. Can I give you my lock of the week?
Yeah, I think it's going to be my lock of the week because you and I think alike, even though you think I'm different than you.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm 20 years older than you, but it's like I'm a 67-year-old, what you're going to be, Jason Puckett,
That's
in 20
probably
years.
true. That's probably true.
Yeah. Okay. So out of all the games that are out there, I think you're going to take the one that I have.
I want South Florida plus 17 at home against Miami.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to pick that one.
Okay. They're 2-1 on the season.
Cam Ward hater. Leave him alone.
Okay. They're 2-1 on the season. They were right in the game. They were trailing Alabama in Alabama by 5 with 6 minutes to play in that game. They ended up losing 42-16 because Alabama scored like 3 straight touchdowns in 4.5 minutes. It's a 5-point ball game in Tuscaloosa. They're at home. Okay. They're getting 17. You talk about intangibles all the time. Every kid on that South Florida football team wanted to play at Miami or Florida State or Florida, but probably Miami. Every one of them. And got overlooked. Chip on their shoulder, something to prove. They've had to listen to, Cam Ward this, Cam Ward that, Heisman Trophy, yada, yada, yada. It's not a huge game, but these games is when Mario Cristobal shows his true colors as a bad football coach. South Florida. Give me the 17 in South Florida. Let's go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like your pick.
Yeah. You should.
Plus, is there a little bit in there that you don't like Cam Ward?
There's a lot. There's a lot. There's actually. No, I like him personally. I just don't like the player. All right. What's your lock of the week?
I'm going to go with Sparky. I'm going to go with ASU.
Oh, okay.
3 at Texas Tech. And I just think part of it's just because I don't think Texas Tech is all that good. And I think Dillingham or whoever that second-year coach is down there at ASU, I think he's doing a good job. They're 3-0.
Yeah.
They had to struggle to get past Texas State last week, but I like ASU on the road to get it done tonight in Lubbock.
Okay.
Not tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. I gotta text my boy Troy West, who was holding on by. We're gonna get to Troy here in just a quick second. All right. I'm going to play. We had one voicemail. We still do voicemails. They're up on the website, PuckSports.com. Up on the right-hand corner, you'll see the voicemail line. You can leave us a voicemail. It's been a little dry lately, but we received one today, actually late last night, that I think is pretty good. All right. It's not, you're going to have to be the judge of it and tell me. But our good friend, Cleveland Indians broadcaster, Harry Doyle. Remember Harry Doyle?
No.
From the movie Major League, played by Bob Uecker, Harry Doyle.
Okay. Yeah,
Harry Doyle checks in with his thoughts on the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, hold on. I knew it wasn't going to. Hold on. Give me a second, Jimbo. Hold on. Harry Doyle.
Hey, Puckett and Jim, it's Harry Doyle here, of course, sitting next to my good friend Jack D, as always, and just wanted to call about those goddamn Mariners. Holy shit, Puckett. The pitching is absolutely stunning, and it's been that way for years, but dipshit Dipoto couldn't find a bat if it hit him in the ass. It's unbelievable. Those owners should be sued for malpractice. And I love those guys up there. They're fantastic. Keep your head up and fire everybody. Okay, just a bit outside.
Not a bad. Do you remember the character that Bob Uecker played in Major League?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I forgot the name.
Well, Harry Doyle, not bad.
No, that was good.
Not a bad Harry Doyle.
That was really good. Yeah, there was substance there on the Mariners. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Mariners in 45 minutes.
We did not talk about the Mariners.
Why is that? They're in the thick of the wild card race.
Well, they're not, but okay. They're not. Whatever. Because I'm done with them. I can't do them anymore. Because you know what? We're in. I got to go. We're way late here. We are in an abusive relationship with them. Okay, now
that's a good way of putting it.
I'm saying this tongue in cheek, so please do not take this literally. That's not really funny to joke about domestic violence and abuse. Okay, I'm not joking about it. Okay,
look at me. I'm so sick. I'm laughing.
But you know what I'm talking about. There's just gonna be someone like when I tweeted after the Apple Cup, after Jed Fish made that stupid boneheaded call. I just said Jed Fish should be murdered for that. Murdered on the radio, and all these idiots. That's just uncalled for. Ask for violence against someone and you really think someone should kill him? I'm like, are you guys stupid? How dumb can you be? Do you think I would want him actually killed? But whatever. So, but we are in an abusive relationship with them, and I'm done with it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I
kind of feel that way working with you, honestly, but I'm still here.
Okay. Blink. Hey, blink with your right eye if you're scared. Okay, we got to go. You have a fun trip there to Pullman. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay, Puck. Go Cougs.
Yeah, go Cougs. There he is, Jim Moore, who joins us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Let's talk a little gambling right now with our handicapper. Hey, Troy wins. Troy, sorry that I made you wait for so long. I'm trying to get Jim Moore off the damn air, and he and I are just rambling and rambling. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Congrats to the Cougs. Is Jim still having to pay people out because he thought they'd win by 10 or more?
Yeah, probably. Sure. I mean, it's a tough time here for Jim.
It is. Hats off to the Cougs. That was a big win, and hopefully not a letdown game tonight against San Jose State.
I don't like what you're doing with that letdown. Stop doing that. Stop doing the letdown stuff. I don't want to hear anything about the letdown.
I think the Dicker teams are built a little bit differently than Coug teams in the past. So let's avoid the letdown and let's beat San Jose State by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get to all of our picks. What do we like? What do you like in this game tonight with the Cougs?
I think the Cougs are going to take care of business. I do. The line's been jumping all the way around. I've seen it as low as 11. I've seen it as high as 13.5. I think right now, what's it sitting at about 13.5? Mm-hmm. I think the Cougs take care of business. I think the crowd should be rocking tonight. The momentum after that Husky win, I think, is huge. I do think it really is on paper the letdown spot, but I think the Cougs come to play. I think they get this one. Their defense is good. This is a good defensive team this year. I like the Cougs, 31-13.
31-13. So you're not as scared as Jim is.
If it wasn't a big Friday night game back at home, if this was on the road, I'd probably feel a lot different. I think the home crowd gets into it. They're 3-0. If you look at the Cougars' schedule, it is pretty funny to think this is a team that could potentially run the table this year, right? I mean, other than at Boise State, this schedule is pretty promising for the Cougs. So I don't see a letdown tonight. I think the Cougs have big aspirations to potentially get in a decent bowl game this year.
Yeah, well, but you always are worried about some of those letdowns. All right, this is just a great tilt. As we go to the ACCs, we'll go around a bunch of college games and some NFL games. But these are the games you like. Florida State is minus 2.5, 2.5 against the Cal Bears. The Cal Bears, they've become a sensation on social media. Troy wins. Who do you like in that game tonight?
I absolutely love Florida State in this game. I do. This is an 0-3 team. They're favored for a reason. Mike Norvell's still a hell of a football coach. I don't think this team's going to quit on him. This is quite the travel game from Cal. They got to go all the way from Northern Cal all the way into Florida. Tough travel game. That place still should be rocking. I get the slow start for Florida State, but this is the bigger, faster, stronger team. I think Norvell's a fantastic coach. He'll have his guys ready to go. I think Florida State takes care of business in a big way.
Okay, your team out there licking their wounds, and your team being the Washington Huskies after getting dispatched by our Cougs. They are in Seattle. They're taking on Northwestern. It's the start of Big Ten play. Latest line, it's varied everywhere, but 10.5 I think is where it has settled now. Maybe it's even jumped up a little bit more, but 10.5 against Northwestern. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I like the Huskies. I would lean on the under. The under is the play that I really do like on this one if I'm going to put my money on it. But I do think Washington bounces back. I think Jed Fish is disappointed in his play call to end that Cougar game last week. I think he'll have a much better game plan. This is a bad Northwestern football team. Had the opportunity to watch them a couple times. This is a really bad Northwestern team that I think ultimately finishes last in the Big Ten. I think Washington bounces back 28-10, but I would lean heavily on the under here.
Okay. All right. Going over to the NFL before we get to the Seahawks. Baltimore, who has just been, Baltimore. They're trying to avoid going 0-3 on the season. They're taking on Dallas right now, favored by 1.5 against your Cowboys. And that game's in Dallas, is it not?
This game's in Dallas. Yeah, this is a weird line. I just am not on the Baltimore wagon. Haven't been on them all year. They don't have a true number receiver. Zay Flowers, good receiver, not a true number one. They don't really have anybody behind him. Derrick Henry, to me, is washed up. I think there's a reason he hasn't been getting the carries that everybody thought he was going to get. I just don't think he's got enough in the tank. I actually like Dallas to bounce back here after getting shellacked by the Saints. This could be a high-scoring game. I think Dallas takes care of business 31-28. I'll take the Cowboys.
Can't figure out the Cowboys, right? Week 1, they look great. Week 2, they just get bludgeoned by the Saints. And hell, I mean, I think the Saints are better than people realize.
I agree.
They are just a Jekyll and Hyde football team. They really are. Must
suck
being a Cowboys fan, Troy.
I know it's a tough deal to be a Cowboys fan. It's almost worse than being a Mariners fan, right? I don't know, maybe not. We won't go there. I don't go there.
I don't think there's. I mean, like I just told Jim, we are in an abusive relationship with that team. All right,
Yeah,
and it's an
no lie.
abusive relationship. Seahawks at home. You got them at 5. What do you like in that game? Seahawks -5 against the Dolphins at home.
I'm taking the points here. I think a lot of people are down on Skylar Thompson. This guy's still very capable. I don't think Seattle's been tested yet with good wide receivers, good run game. They haven't seen a good quarterback all year, and I'm not saying Skylar Thompson is a good quarterback, but he's very capable. This is a tough receiving core. I'm really excited to see the Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf matchup. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm not necessarily saying the Dolphins win the game. I just think this one's decided by 3 points, so I'll take 5 with the Dolphins here.
Okay, 5 with the. Ooh, okay. What do you in the total in that game? What do you like?
I like the over. I just think this has potential. Geno Smith's been chucking the ball around the field. I think Skylar Thompson, I think they're going to let him loose. This is a guy that knows the offense. He's had plenty of snaps in this offense. I think Tyreek Hill's probably due for a big game or a big play or two. I would lean over. I think this is going to be like a 28-27, 31-28 type of football game. I would lean over.
Okay, lean on the over on that one. Can I ask you just I want a few other random ones from the National Football League. The Rams, they're decimated by injuries. Troy, they're 0-2, haven't won a game. Their offensive line's all banged up. Cup's out, Nakua's out. Niners coming to this game, they're taking on the Rams. They're not healthy at all. I mean, they've got guys banged up. But San Francisco comes in damn near almost a touchdown favorite in that one. Which way would you lean on that one? It's 6.5. You go Rams or go Niners on this one?
Well, Sean McVay's such a great coach, and he always seems to do well with his 3rd, 4th, 5th options. But man, this is a head scratcher for me. It's definitely a stay away game. I won't put money on this because I don't know what you're going to get from this Ram team. Is Matthew Stafford, like you said, when he has no time to throw, the offensive line's banged up. The 49ers are going to load the box up. But like you mentioned, getting 7 points as a home dog in the NFL, I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but I'll tell you what, 7-point home dogs cover a lot. I could see it being a 24-21 type of game still. Like I said, until we really see how bad this Ram team is without both their number 1 and number 2, it's hard to put money on it. But I would lean getting over 7 points at home. With the Rams. It's still a good football team, and they're well coached.
Troy, we asked some of our viewers on the YouTube chat to ask if they had any betting advice for you. And again, you can get all that advice up at TroyWins.com. Troy's going to tell you the best way to get in contact with him and get their expertise there at TroyWins.com. But one question from Joel. He wants your thoughts on USC and Michigan. USC going in the big house. This is like the Rose Bowl, but it's in the regular season. And USC, the road team, they're favored by 4 against the Wolverines, who will be starting a brand new quarterback.
I've got a buddy who's a Michigan alumni, and he said this is a really, really bad Michigan football team this year. And they showed that when Texas went in there and routed them. Will they bounce back? I mean, USC has not gone on the road this year and had to play in this type of environment quite yet. But I'm taking USC. This is a good USC football team. They showed it against LSU earlier this year. And Michigan's already going to the backup quarterback this early in the season. Give me USC. I think they find a way to get it done. Lincoln Riley's a good coach. He'll have them ready to go. USC, I think, wins this game by 10 plus.
Is there whether it's in college, Troy, or the NFL, is there the biggest dog of the week? I mean, is there one that you look at and like, oh my God, look at that number, jump on that or avoid it? Which one is that?
That one this week to me is South Florida. This South Florida team, they hung with Alabama for a while. South Florida is getting 17 points at home against Miami. I think this is a much closer game. Obviously, Cam Ward's had an outstanding start to the year. Miami looks like they're a legitimate playoff team, but I think 17 points at home. That's one that I had circled. I like South Florida in that one.
When we were just before you came on talking to Jim. That's the one I'm all over. And I haven't watched the Bulls play at all, but I did watch just the highlights. The fact is that was a 5-point game against Alabama late before Bama scored 3 touchdowns. And I just think we talk about intangibles, right? All of those South Florida kids wanted to go to Miami. They all grew up being Hurricane fans, and it's at home for South Florida. And there's part of me, because there's rumors out there that the South Florida's or the Pac-12 is trying to add South Florida to the conference. So I'm going to pull from back the pack. And I want Cam Ward to struggle, and that makes me a bad person. I know it just really does.
I'm into it. Into it.
UCLA. Would you take LSU? LSU was favored by 22.5 at home against UCLA. Would you avoid that one?
I would UCLA is a bad football team all the way around. They made Indiana look like Indiana goes into Pasadena and just destroys them. I don't know. I think they're regretting the Deshaun Foster hire already. I think this will be his first road test in Baton Rouge. Boy, I think Brian Kelly has his guys ready to play. I think LSU blows them out. I think that's probably a 24+ victory. I think 22 is a lot of points. But I think LSU finds a way to blow them out.
Okay, so you like LSU? Yeah, I mean it's the Foster thing. It just does not seem like it's going to work out, does it? It doesn't.
It's early, but it doesn't look good. I mean, you look at the hire that Indiana made. They bring in the James Madison coach, and they're off to a 3-0 start and look great. Foster just doesn't seem like he's got it going on.
Who's the team this year? It was Georgia, I think, last year or 2 years ago, where you were like, you bet on the under on every game for Georgia because their defense was so stout and they were just holding, the opponents to like 8 points a game. So far, it's early in the season, so it's probably maybe too early for trends. Is there a team in college football or the NFL that there's a trend right now that you're like, man, you just bet on that team each week, whether it's the spread or the total?
Well, we'll see. But right now, for me, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. They've gone under twice. And I just think, with Justin Fields at the helm, they're not going to let him get too crazy with the ball. They're going to run. They play great defense. Right now, that's the team I'm watching. Their first 2 games went well under the total. Another team, obviously, they went over against the Seahawks, but I think the Denver Broncos is another team that's going to trend under throughout the year. I mean, with Bo Nix at quarterback, these dink and dunks, 5 yards here, 5 yards there, and a good defense. Those are 2 teams that I'm watching. But Pittsburgh has gone under twice. I'm going to continue to monitor those unders throughout the course of the year.
Before we get to Troy's lock of the week, and then we're also going to get Troy's going to tell you how to get in touch there at TroyWins.com. Let's update everybody on Puck the Picker, the Pick'em Pool. It's up at PuckSports.com. Troy and his company at TroyWins.com is giving away all expenses paid a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, first round of the March Madness tournament. You're going to stay at the Circa Hotel, all expenses paid. We've got the Pick'em Pool. It's up at PuckSports.com. The standings are, as of right now, we had just a little bit of an air of people that entered because we didn't do week 1 picks, but because people were signed up for other pools, because we do it via ESPN, they were able to get in there because we started our pool on week 2. It's fine. There's only like 7 of them. I can tell you right now who's in first place, not based on the games that were picked in week 1. So based on this contest is only based on week 2 and moving forward. So I believe the the winner or the leader right now is Jonathan Valverde. So Jonathan Valverde and Dwayne Mathis right now are your leaders with 110 points. They both last week went 11-5 there in their picks. So congratulations to those. Yeah, solid. I went 6-10. Not good.
NFL has been extremely tricky this year. Extremely tricky. Just bet. There's a stat out there that the 6-point dogs or more are 9-0 this year, and they've covered the spread by like a shit ton. It's unbelievable.
Wow. All right.
6 points so far. I don't know if that's going to keep up, but 6-point dogs or more have covered every game this year, and it's by a landslide.
So you can still get in there, PuckSports.com. It's all against the spread. Each win is worth 10 points. And so even though that you're back and you've missed a week, you can still get in. You could, if you have a great week, and
Right
hit
in.
on every game, you're right back in it. So there still is time. You can join now there at PuckSports.com. The Join Now button is right there. The password is PuckSports. You can get in and away you go. All right, before you go, two quick things, housekeeping. One, what's your lock? What maybe you've already mentioned it before.
We talked about this game, but my lock of the week that I am putting money on, I absolutely love this game, is Florida State. Florida State
Okay.
-2. Again, really tough place to play. I can't see a scenario where Cal flies into Florida State and makes the Seminoles go to 0-4. Have that game circled. I love it. I'll have my money on it. Florida State is my lock of the week.
Okay, before we say goodbye to you and you enjoy your weekend, sir, tell everybody, go to TroyWins.com right now. 20-plus years handicapping advice. When someone wants to go sign up, and what are they going to get there at TroyWins.com?
Yeah, we cover everything. Follow us on Instagram. It's Troy West. Come to the website, TroyWins.com. All sorts of great stuff there. We're starting to do a newsletter. We've got some great videos. If you're new to sports betting, we've done some great money management videos. We've done some sports betting for dummies 101. Check out the website. It's all updated. It's a brand new website. It's awesome. We cover everything. We cover golf, UFC, basketball, college football, NFL, you name it. We cover it. We even cover soccer. We can literally cover everything. It's a one-stop shop. The pricing is ridiculously good. It's TroyWins.com. If you're not satisfied, we'll give you your money back. No questions asked.
And you can sign up just as $29.99 as affordable a week, and you can go all the way up. So go to TroyWins.com there for the very latest there with Troy. And again, make sure you sign up if you still have time. You're going to run out if you don't get going pretty soon for a Puck the Picker. Pick them as we're giving away, or Troy's giving away, all expense paid trip for two to Las Vegas, first round of March Madness there. If you just got to play Puck the Picker, pick and pool up at PuckSports.com. All right, Troy, you're the best, sir. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, sir.
Thanks a lot, Puck. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. There he is, TroyWins.com, joining us here on a Friday extravaganza. We're waiting for old Chris Egan to pop on before we finish out our Friday show. Reminder, we've got Hey, What the Puck coming up a little bit later at the end of the show. And we'll cover an interesting story that's coming out of college football. And, of course, it's the Cougs again, and it surrounds the situation with the Pac-12 and Tulane, South Florida, and Memphis. It's an interesting story there by Ross Dellinger, and makes a great point why Memphis makes a lot of sense here for the Cougars and Oregon State and the revamped Pac-12. Let's get to them. It's not a Friday without Chris Egan. Chris Egan joins us for a Friday visit. We love having Chris on. He's the best in the business. All brought to you by our friends there at Fat Zach's Pizza. Fat Zach's Pizza, they got locations down there in the South End, South Hill, Puyallup, Sumner. They got catering trucks. They're gonna cater your birthday parties, your holiday parties, graduation, weddings. They do weddings. Go visit FatZachsPizza.com. Chris Egan every single Friday here at PuckSports. And he's with us right now with his Mariners hat on. And I'm told he's ready to scold me for my opinions on the Mariners. Go ahead, sir. Let me have it.
Puckett, let's start with a couple things. Let's begin with Julio Rodriguez. I've sat back. I was watching the concert Alabama at the Washington State Fair. They're in the middle of Dixieland Delight, and I'm sitting there watching the concert, and all of a sudden I see the Yankees have the Mariners get 2 outs. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. And then that night on social media, everybody going after the Mariners, everybody going after Julio Rodriguez. It's just like every person acts like they played professional baseball out there, and they would have never done this in their life. I've heard so many people coming up to me like, Egan, I mean, Lou Piniella would have let Julio know. Lou Piniella would have let Julio know. This sums up the Mariners season. This is what's wrong with this team. Listen to me right now, Mariners Nation. No one, and this is from somebody that's been coaching youth sports for over 2 decades, nearly 3 decades of youth sports coaches. No one
No one practices throwing a bat down third baseline and avoiding the bat and then getting back on the back. It's just bad luck. It happens, and you don't practice this unless you're Patches O'Houlihan, Puckett. Unless you're Patches O'Houlihan and you're practicing dipping, diving, ducking, and getting away from wrenches. No coach has ever practiced this. So just let's drop that play and move on. I couldn't even go to bed that night. I would have never done that. Guess what? 280-pound Mountain Dew Bob, you wouldn't have done that because you wouldn't be playing at T-Mobile Park. No, you wouldn't have been out there, okay? Because you wouldn't have been on the field.
I feel like you're yelling at me. That's what I feel like this is. You're yelling at me.
Well, we're going to get there, Puckett.
Oh,
I'm coming your way, Puckett.
Oh, God,
maybe this is just sitting at the fair for 2 days, enjoying America, listening to Alabama, Thomas Rhett last night, just loving life. And then you just, you know what? It ruined my night jumping on social media. I just should have shut it down and sat and listened to the concert and had fun. But then we go back, Puck, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on this daily Puck Drop, the number one podcast in America right now. Everybody's talking about it. I heard about it last night. We love Puck. Where's Puck? Is he coming to the concert? But you know what, Puck, and I do love you. And you and I are very, we see eye to eye on a lot of things. I don't see eye to eye on this next comment, Puck. You told me 2 weeks ago you were rooting against this Mariners team.
Yeah.
Here's my problem, Puck, with this. Why would you be rooting against a team that is only 2 games back for a wild card spot? Because we all know if you get in, you got a chance. You got a chance. And this pitching staff, Puck, if you get in, anything could happen with this pitching staff. And are you kidding me? Like, why wouldn't we want this team to win a World Series? Why wouldn't we want to celebrate in the streets of Seattle? Why wouldn't we want everybody coming together as one to root on this Mariners team? Because you got a bone to pick with the general manager? If that's it, then I'm sorry. You know what? Then you're letting people get into your life, Puck, that shouldn't be there. You know what? Take the negativity, get it out. Let's think positive. Let's think about all the good moments we can have. Root on this Mariners team. Don't let one person get in your way for rooting on this team to victory. I'm going to just say that right now. I'm giving this team everything I got. There's 9 games to go. Why wouldn't I want to take my son to a World Series playoff game? You know what? Because guess what? We don't make it. I don't think it does anything different. Everybody that doesn't want him, he's still going to be back. So there you go.
It's not him. One, this is that's a wonderful. What you said, what you articulated is perfect. I am very much in the minority on my feelings towards them. But what's happening, and I don't
think you are, Puck, because this is why I'm a little, because I've heard this. I think you're spreading. I think Puck Nation out there is joining you, because I heard it at the fair the last 2 nights. Like, I'm not rooting for this team. And I'm why?
Chris, I think you're an abusive. This is what I told Jim. We are in an abusive relationship. And you got to make a choice. You want to stay in that abusive relationship or get out? I've decided I'm getting out right now. I'm getting out. Not to say I'm not going to come back, because, usually you come back. I'll come back. I'm getting out right now. Because this year was not supposed to be about going to the final week of the season to get a wild card spot. This division was gift wrapped to this team. Gift wrapped. The Astros were terrible this year. Injuries everywhere. Decimated pitching staff. Kyle Tucker missed damn near the whole season. And they still chased you down. And you had a 10-game lead. And it was so bad they even took it up to 6 games up on you. Now it's 5. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them constantly every year letting me down. And I can't take it anymore with these guys. It just drives me nuts. Now, when we get into next year and you are going down to spring training and we have you on and you do the same damn shot that gets me every time with the camera on the ground with their cleats hitting the freaking cement, then I'm going to be all in again, because it happens every year. But right now, I'm out on them.
So, Puck, and I had this conversation with somebody at work that's just exactly like you, and they just don't want to root them on. And I'm like, what if they make the playoffs? And
then I'll be back on if they make the playoffs, because we can be.
You're in if they make the playoffs.
We can be hypocrites, right? Fans,
Puck,
sports
Puck,
fans.
You know what
can be
this reminds me of, Puck? I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. This reminds me of going to a Puyallup High School game, and my wife and I, we were not married then, are sitting next to another gal, and her boyfriend was a third-string wide receiver for Puyallup High School, but you wouldn't have never known that, Puck, because he didn't play, and she, all of a sudden, the two guys in front of him get hurt. This is at Clover Park, and he goes in the game, and sure enough, she takes off her jacket, and she's got his jersey on, and now it's letting everybody know in the stadium that I am the number one fan of this guy. Puck, you've got to be a fan when they're third string, second string, first string. You've got to be a fan when they're two out, and you know what? They broke your heart. I get it this year. They've broken a lot of hearts this year. Many people went in thinking, this is the year. Look at this pitching staff. Look at that shot on the Seattle Times of the 5 pitchers that nobody can touch. Well, maybe we should all go back to spring training and think about that one picture right there, Buck. Maybe we should think about that picture. I have the picture as well, the 5 pitchers. Everybody's like, World Series or bust. Well, maybe we should ask the Mariners, could you please put 5 hitters out on the field for us to take a picture of? Maybe that was our fault back in spring training.
I blame you.
Put 5 hitters out there. So maybe were our expectations too high, Puck? I don't know.
Maybe, but these expectations were set forth by them. That's what is so mad. I mean, Chris, it's not even 2 years ago. We haven't even gotten 2 years yet where this team was in a hell of a series, had ended the drought, whatever, 20 plus years. I can't remember how many years it was, 20 plus years of not being in the postseason. You're there, you're celebrating. It's a great series against Toronto. Then they move on and they have a great series, even though they get swept with Houston. It was a phenomenal series. And you thought when the second that series ended, you're like, okay, you know what? They took a step. They're going to take another step next year. They'll be right back in it. They'll make some moves in the offseason. They'll improve this team. They've seen how everybody is fired up about this Mariners team. They're so excited. What did they do in the offseason? Nothing. They didn't do a single goddamn thing to improve the team.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they flame out last year.
I could argue at that end of the Astros series, there was a little concern, honestly, because they didn't put Marco Gonzalez in any of the starting lineups for Toronto or Houston, so you had a little turmoil there. The whole Robbie Ray, meltdown. I think that was like, I don't know how that future looks right now. And then you had Andres Munoz and Matt Brash almost pitching every single day. Thank goodness Munoz has been okay, but obviously we've missed Matt Brash this season.
Yeah, and then you're 100%. But then it goes, so they don't do anything last year. And then I thought when last year ended, well, that's the most disappointing season I can remember being a Mariners fan, because there was so much promise from the previous year, and then they just completely fall apart. And I'm tired of being lied to by them. That's what bothers me about them. Whether it's ownership or this front office, I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of we've got no financial restraints. No, we're going to go out and get anybody. We're going to improve this team, and then they don't do it. And then I'm stuck with Jorge Polanco. I'm stuck with Colton Wong and Jesse Winker and all these other bums they bring over here. We pay 2 guys. I love Mitch Haniger, and he's great with the team. You're paying a guy $17, $19 million who doesn't play. He doesn't play at all. And why did you do it? You did it because you wanted to get rid of a contract with Robbie Ray. You don't have Kelnick here anymore because you wanted to get rid of Evan White's contract. You wanted to get rid of Marco. It's just they don't make moves to improve the team. They make moves to save money. And then so that was last year. Then we get in this offseason. All right, well, they're embarrassed what happened in 2023. They need to capture the fans back. And what do they do this offseason? Oh, they shed payroll. I mean, just like I don't know. That's why it's an abusive relationship. We keep coming back.
And Puck, all your points very, very valid, very real. I guess my question is, and I throw this at a lot of people, is everybody keeps throwing, I'm done with them. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. Well, if we look back in these last 75 years of professional sports, has has that ever worked with any professional sports team where the fans said, "I'm done with them," and all of a sudden, oh, well, the fans are done with us. Let's start getting. I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm being honest and asking.
They're
that question,
done.
Buck.
Maybe we should start spending now. No, because they know, Chris, right? If they hear me or they hear your buddies at the fair, and even the 200-pound guzzling Mountain Dew guy,
Mountain Dew, yeah,
I don't know
Mountain
why
Dew.
we've got a fat shame and people who like Mountain Dew. But
Well, I think his name was Mountain Dew 24. I honestly think he sent me a tweet saying he can get real and take a shot at ownership. Mountain Dew 24.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start following Mountain Dew 24 because he seems like someone I can get down with.
Oh, he's a Puck. He's part of Puck Nation. Yeah, he's
probably is. We're all gonna come back. We're all fans of the team. The players, the guys on the field, but it's just every year it's the same song and dance. And what I guess there's part of this that I don't want. I've been saying this for months. I just don't want to see this. And I said this to Divish weeks ago when I said when we kind of buried him, over a month ago. I said, I know what the storyline's going to be. They're going to make a late run. They're going to barely miss the playoffs by a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to, they haven't done a press conference since they announced DePoto was coming back. They haven't done anything. They're going to trot him up there, and they're going to put Hollander up there. Maybe John Stanton comes up there as well. And they're going to sit there, and they're going to talk. They're going to look in the camera like I'm looking at the camera right now. And they're going to go, we're so close. We're so close. We have a World Series pitching staff. We believe the changes that we made with this organization. We believe the changes we made with Dan Wilson, the addition of Edgar. We feel that you look at how we finished the season, they're going to trot out those offensive numbers, which have been improved. We think a full season of that and a full off season of the teaching techniques from Wilson and Edgar, we're right there. We're on the cusp of it. We're on the cusp of getting into the playoffs, and we've got all this club control pitching. And we just need to make a few tweaks here and there. And I've been, he's going to look down at John. I've been given assurances that, from ownership that we have deep pockets we can spend. And then he's going to end with this. And we've got, I told you a couple of years ago about this wave of young talent coming in. Talked about the pitchers. We've got, part of the plan was once we get them established, there's going to be this second wave coming in. And he's going to sell everyone on the second wave of talent. Colt Emerson and Young and Harry Ford and all these guys, which none of them are ready next year, by the way. None of maybe Ford, but the rest aren't. And I just don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about that.
Puck, you are more than likely probably right that they missed by one game. I have a bad feeling too, but. If we were to take our glass and just pour a little bit more in there and we go half full, we've got the half empty scenario. We go half full. You do have to, as a baseball, somebody that, did a post-game show, somebody that's followed this team probably, harder than anybody over the last 20 years. If for some reason they get in, the baseball mind that you have has to believe that this team actually has a chance to make a run, correct?
Of course, mathematically, yes. They still have a chance. Of course they do. But they're only 2 games back. Well, everyone always says 2 games back, and we need to stop. We need to change the language when we talk about. They're 3 games back. They are 3 games back.
Are they 3 back of the Tigers, Puck? Do we know that?
Yes, they're 3 back of both the Tigers and Twins
because
they have a tiebreaker. Because both those teams have a tiebreaker. So just say they're 3 back. They're 3 back of the wild card. There's 9 games to go, and they're 5 back of the West. I mean, the West is. Houston. So
mathematically, we will be listening to scenario A, where we'll be having a post-game GM press conference. They end up 1 game back, but really 2 games back when you do the math. But
you are probably the better fan because you know what?
I don't know.
You have hope until the very end, and you know what? I wish I was there with you.
But I wonder, Puck, am I to blame for some of this, for not being tougher, asking tougher questions? Honestly, it's just like, I mean, you start thinking and you hear these scenarios, and But God, you go into spring training, you look at these. Oh, Mitch Garver, man, this guy's destroyed the Mariners over the last. Jorge Polanco. I mean, it's like now I just feel like anybody we pick up, I got to do a little deeper dive into their what's going on with them because it's been frustrating.
The biggest frustration with this team is not so much the front office, and not to say that the front office isn't to blame for it. My biggest frustration with them is just the ownership group. And I'm just not sold on them. And I never have been. Just not sold on the group. It's it's a broken record. I've said it a million times. People have listened and watched. This is that it's never changed. It's the same group. They just shuffled chairs around. Because Staton was here with the previous regime. They move stuff around. Larson's always been here, and those are the two big guys. And I don't know. I just don't think, like you and me and others that are watching and listening, I don't think they have a burning desire to win. Like just a absolute burning desire to win. I think they say they do, but I don't think it comes across.
Well, we'll move on, but I would say DePoto, I think, has more burning desire to win than anyone, and wants to just shove it in everybody's face. If this team gets in there, and so we'll see. I think he's a competitor. I think he's in that job because he's a competitor and he fought to get there. So we'll see what happens. So it's gonna be very interesting. But like you said, mathematically 9 games to go, 3 back. Let's be very clear about that. 3 back. It's not looking good. Puck, I got another beef.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, well, it's the Apple Cup. And
what do you mean? It was the good guys won.
Well, here's my beef, and I want you to listen to it. I had so many people come up. It just wasn't the same. It was just, it was just not right having it at Lumen Field. And then I followed that question up and said, "Were you there?" No, watched it at home on TV. Like, I got to tell you what, Puck, I was there from start to finish. I thought it was a great. I mean, they're going to move this thing back to the home. I thought it was a fun atmosphere, to be honest with you.
Great.
Maybe that's the PLU loot in me, that I could sit in the middle of the fence and you got, the crimson and gray on one side and the purple on the other, and I could just kind of go back and forth and enjoy it. But I thought it was a fantastic environment. I give a lot of credit to Coach Dickert. I have not done a ton with him just because we don't go over to Pullman a lot, but listening to his press conferences during the week, his post game, I've become a fan of him. I thought that I've seen a lot of things up close, but watching that final defensive stance, being right there as the Cougs kept him out of the end zone, not once. A lot of people will point, Puck, to that 4th down play, but you've got the 3rd down play, Denzel Boston taking it to the right side off the short pass. I mean, he's a yard from getting in there. The pass across the end zone, that's just knocked down at the last second. I mean, it was a phenomenal Apple Cup. Congrats to your Cougs. You know what? And I know it's one game at a time in Pullman, but this team, you start looking at that schedule, could be a fun year in Pullman to be a Coug fan.
You had the great video of it. You were right there for the play. But Kyle Thornton, they had the whole cell phone out. I watched that nonstop. It was beautiful.
I wish we could play the whole interview. Was Kyle Thornton after the game? I got right with him and his family, and his dad was so excited he almost started hyperventilating during the interview because the dad and mom are just like, wow. I thought Dad was going to pass out on the field.
I thought I was going to pass out. My watch during that game, I was showing, it was like 100. My heart was like 140. I'm like, that's not good. That's bad.
And that's what I love about the Apple Cup. I love the fact that the Lumen Field security, whether they did it on purpose or not, let the fans onto the field. That felt like, a game at Martin Stadium or Husky Stadium.
Well, once the big Tubbo got tackled by the security guard, the first one on the field, that dude,
everybody was through.
I think they said, hey, once the wildebeest went through, they said, let them all in.
And this is also what I love, Puck. I was there with a photographer that's never done the Apple Cup. I've never done big games, and get the trophy, and everybody's running in there, and I grab them. I go, no. We don't go in there. Stay on the outside of this. Stay on the outside. Let the students have their fun in there. Once you go in there, you're trapped in there. And I saw a rookie reporter from another station in town that went in there and didn't turn out well.
Never and has been missing. There's been missing posters all across Seattle. They don't know where
nobody's seen it. We didn't see a lot of their post game report on TV either. So. But
it was a madhouse.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun environment. I know you've had this conversation. People say it's no longer the Apple Cup, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It felt like an Apple Cup to me. I thought the crowd is into it. Cougar Nation. I was at an event last night before the concert. I went with a Cougar, Cougar alumni. We pumped, and there's Cougar pride out there. And you know what? They've been beaming all week long. And Puck, you wouldn't be beaming like that all week long with a win over Portland State or a win over Boise State. It's something about beating your rival in state. So in my mind, that rival still means something, and Cougar fans showed it this week, just the way they reacted.
It was, and again, this is why, I think it's okay to always just be hypocritical as a sports fan. I went into it, going back to last year, I didn't want the game to be played. That was my emotional knee-jerk reaction to it. Didn't want it to be played, felt scorned, left behind, all of those emotions. And so I wanted to take it out of no one. They want to leave us. They want to go off and kill this conference, then we'll kill the rivalry. And as the weeks, months went by, I slowly changed my opinion. Then we were getting closer to the start of college football season, it changed even more. And I'll tell you where it finally just moved in, because I wasn't going to go to the game initially, but my kids were on me constantly. Like, we've got to go to the game. We've got to go to the game. We've got to go to the game. And so we didn't even get there till halftime. My son had a football game. I've talked about this before. We scalp tickets. We get down there, so we enter at halftime. And I just think the second I walked in there and I just saw my heart rate go from 68 to 130, everything was right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the most the rivalry games, doesn't matter what it is the biggest emotional roller coaster that we have. It keeps you alive. It really does, because it's just a sporting event, Chris. That's all it is. But God, does it feel like life and death when you're sitting in that arena for 3+ hours. And
Puckett, it is a sporting event. It is not life and death. But after that game, I don't know how many Coug people came up and are just randomly hugging me. You were the greatest in the world. I mean, it was just to see the joy on that field, and then then you see the other side of it, the purple and gold leaving that stadium, about as pissed off as they've ever been in a while, just not happy. Why did we run that play? I haven't heard so much anger for a coach's decision, honestly, probably since that Super Bowl, Puck. It's been a while since we've seen so much people going after a coach.
And here's the thing. That call, and I'm going to be real. I think honestly, objectively speaking here, be really curious to see where Jed Fish goes here. Because there's a chance that play call defines his career as the head coach of the school. It really does.
Honestly, that whole series, it's just like looking back at that, that's definitely going to go down as one of the best stands in Cougar history, and one of the worst offensive goal lines, for the UW in their history as well.
I know you've been at the fair forever. It's been just fair central for you. And I think it was on last week's show, we talked about people that go to the fair that apparently, even though, because it's the fair, they feel like they've got to dress up as cowboys, even though they're not cowboys.
Sure.
You can do it at a trot.
What the hell? You can
do it at a gallop.
Yep.
You can do it real fast. So
your
heart don't palate to take.
Maybe.
Did you go to the Western store before you went to the fair to get all of this?
Let's just tell everybody listening and watching.
Unbelievable.
That's what happens when you have 3 margaritas. Is you end up. That's what happens. You end up at 1 a.m. with a cowboy hat on and a pink guitar, and then you start singing, and your lovely wife videotapes it, and that's what happens.
But I want to know about the outfit. I mean, how many times do you wear the cowboy outfit?
Not a lot. Here's the problem: is I've gone to a couple, Alabama and Thomas Rhett, and I literally had on like a polo, like a Nike polo, and my wife's like, we're not golfing. We're going to a country concert. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to, I don't live on a ranch, honey. And she's like, well, you need to at least dress like you're going to a country concert. Yeah. So there you go. I just wanted to honestly wear a black t-shirt and jeans, but we were going to a dinner before where they needed a colored shirt on. So that's why.
You look real fancy down there in the South End, huh? Where'd you go to dinner, huh?
Well, it's I got invited with the Fair Board, so they have a dinner up top before the concert. So the Fair Board members, bring in guests.
The Fair Board. I thought that was the last name. So the board members of the fair have like a fancy dinner on top of what the mutton busting spot.
Yes, up there so you can look down. Have a few cocktails, and then you head down and sit in your seats and watch the concert.
Do they just take the heifers from the 4-H and then do we just pick them out? I will have that one tonight.
I can't make this up. So during the board member dinner, they go around and the president has people talk. He had me say something. Then he had one member stand up and says, "Can you give us an update from the barns?" And I'm like, what are we talking about? And he literally said, "Well, we haven't had many pregnancies the last 2 days, but, the cows may be a little stressed with so many people." But it was literally an update on how many babies were born. So yeah, welcome. Well, and it wraps up Sunday with the Steve Miller Band.
Oh, it's always Steve Miller. How many years in a row has Steve Miller played there?
Yeah. I'll tell you, the lead singer of Alabama.
Yeah.
It was like he wanted to move, Puck, but I don't think he could move. He was just.
Yeah. Well, it's been many years for Alabama, right?
I mean, they got a lot of hits, though. Alabama's got a lot. Yeah. So.
Hey, real quick before we get to the big game of the week where you're going to be at tonight, you got a new, not technically, but in a way, yes. You got a new coworker at King 5 and Kong.
Ariel Orzuto.
No, that's not what I was getting at.
Ian Furness.
Yes. I mean, is the
mayor of Maple Valley.
Is King 5 big enough for the two massive egos that are Egan and Furness?
It's interesting. I want to just the first week, Puck, I want to let Ian enjoy this and, savor in and celebrate this because he's going to be, doing the Kraken games. I'm happy for him. Week 2, I'm going to dig back into the archives and find all the times that he's taken shots at King 5.
Where he's railed on King 5 and
where he went after us, Puck, for having the big game rally at Mount Tahoma at Tahoma High School. The boys got up too early and they couldn't play that night. I'm like, I said, Ian, we've done this like 14 other schools and they did just fine. All of a sudden, we're happy for him. Exciting times. The mayor of Maple Valley, is going to do great work. I know he's pumped up. And Linda Cohn, another legend. It's going to be quite. They're going to do a good job. I know King 5 is we've hired a producer for the Kraken, a video editor for the Kraken. So they're going all in. So it's going to be that. It's going to be busy time though, Puck. We're getting there where Sounders are in the playoffs. Seahawks are in full swing, 2-0. Cougs, Huskies, college basketball's coming up soon. So
will you do anything with the Kraken or not? Just your normal King 5 stuff.
I'll go on and do like a feature every week. So I'll go over there and do once a week. I'll feature a player. They'll have that on the show. We'll put that on King 5 TV. But I know Ian and Sylvie, they're kind of the hockey experts. And then Winter Olympics, is not next winter, but the following winter, there'll be a lot of ties to that through the Kraken organization too. So.
Where are you guys at tonight? Where's King 5 sending you tonight for the old King 5 big game of the week?
Well, first off, a shout out to last week. We had Lake Stevens versus Bellevue. I think Bellevue's the team to beat. That was the defending state champs in 4A and 3A. But Lake Stevens, you can't give enough credit to this school district, high school. The Puck, you were there up with me last year. It was once again phenomenal. Place is packed to the rafters. It's an incredible job they do bringing school spirit together. Tonight we're at another place that does an awesome job. Suzanne Vick is the athletic director at Curtis High School. They're 2-0. A lot of talent on this team. They're saying this could be one of the best Curtis teams we've seen since Torrey Hunter, Signor Mobley back in the late 80s and 90s. And they'll be taking on a 2-0 team, the Lakes Lancers, and Dave Miller is the coach of this team, and he has been coaching there, I think, since 1979.
He was the coach when I was in high school at Kent Ridge. He's been there forever. And then I see pictures of him, Chris. He hasn't aged.
No,
I
he
don't
doesn't
get it.
age. He says he has a turkey sandwich every day. And
That-
but I'm like, how? I mean, his hair is still the same as it looked in the '80s. His face hasn't changed.
Nothing.
I don't get. Yeah, I mean, he's the Mario Lopez of high school football coaches. He doesn't age. He's the.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks great.
It's him. It's the late great Steve Poole and Mario
Yeah.
Lopez. Never aged.
Yeah.
Never
They
aged.
never age at all. And you know what? He's done a fantastic job. He's had a lot of kids at Lakes that come in and out, with McCord, Joint Base, Fort Lewis Air Force Base. He gets a lot of kids, that come in and out with military families. And he's just done a phenomenal job. I know Lakes has only won one state title when you look back, but he has that team in the running every single year.
All
and
the time.
To have a consistent program like that. So it's going to be a fun one tonight. We were up north last week. We're going to go over to University Place tonight.
Right.
Maybe we'll hit Chambers Bay before we begin our live shots, and then
just squeeze in a whiskey 9.
squeeze in a whiskey 9 at Chambers Bay.
Okay.
And then head on over to the game. So yeah, I mean, I'm pumped up. Always fun.
Where we should get some recommendations. Where are you going to eat tonight? So you'll be in the. Pardon me. Is it at Curtis or at Lakes? You're in University Place tonight?
At Curtis, University Place.
Okay.
There is a burger joint that I've never been to.
A burger joint you've never been to. We need some recommendations for Chris on the chat.
Yeah.
Burger place, food spots in University Place. But the only place I know in University Place, because I go there, it's summer in UP, is I go to the Beach Tavern. Can't we just go to the Beach Tavern? Get a shot and a burger.
I'm going to be honest with you, Puck. I feel like after 3 days in a row at the fair, I need to get my stomach pumped and need to have like just a lettuce wrap of some sort.
Well, those margaritas will do it to you. Those skinny margaritas really take it out on a man.
Oh, man.
All right, Curtis and Lakes, what time does the live coverage start tonight on King 5?
We got 5:45, 6:45. We'll be with the students, and then we'll have game action tonight at 9, 10, and 11. And then tomorrow night I'll be on King 5, and then Sunday night, another night on King 5. And, busy week ahead. So yeah.
Someone is saying, hold on.
They got some spots for us?
Yeah, Lefty's Burger Shack.
That's the one.
Lefty's Burger Shack.
I've never been there.
Yeah, in University Place. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
Because otherwise, when my wife, this is my wife, literally, any chance you can stop off at Trader Joe's? I'm like, I'm not grocery shopping before the big game, honey.
Any chance you can? I made a list for you. I've got to work. Oh, Lord. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it.
No, like I've just got time to go grocery shopping. Hey, sorry I missed the live shot. Trader Joe's was pretty backed up.
Joyce, sorry we got late here. And Greg, so I was at Trader Joe's getting mixed nuts and the charcuterie board for Mel Egan. Back
By
to
the way,
you, Greg.
Puckett, if you ever want to see an advertisement for Lululemon, just go to Trader Joe's. It's like every woman that comes in there just got out of yoga class.
And sometimes it's a good thing, and then sometimes it's a bad thing.
Sure, yeah. And sometimes, yeah.
You're the best.
I'll stop.
Yeah, just stop there. You don't need to get in trouble. Stop there. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. You're the best. Love you to death. We'll talk to you next week.
Peace.
There he is, Chris Egan, King 5. He joins us every single Friday. Brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. If you're down the South End, Puyallup, Sumner, South Hill, Fat Zach's Pizza is going to take care of you. The home of the Big Dill Pickle Pizza. They've got catering trucks. They've got food trucks. They can cater any of your events, birthday parties, graduations, whatever you'd like. FatZachsPizza.com. It's on that little QR code there on the screen. All right. We've got to get everyone caught up here on the what do we got right now? Hold on. We're doing Hey, What the Puck? It's all brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, North Seattle. Big thanks to Trent and everyone over there at Restoration One. And Derek. Derek's a huge Tigers fan, and every night texts me another update on the Tigers winning again. So F you, Derek. All right? F you. All right. Hey, What the Puck? We talked about this yesterday a little bit, And in terms of Gemini, or the other day, Gemini not all fired up about Memphis and Tulane and all these other schools potentially could be joining the Pac-12. Again, I'm probably still not all that fired up, but reading an article today from Ross Dellinger, who does a great job, Ross Dellinger, a great job at Yahoo Sports of covering college football, it made me rethink kind of the stance on Memphis. And that being just what Memphis could add potentially to the Pac-12. And Memphis is being courted. Now, is there a chance, is being courted by the Pac-12, by the way, is there a chance that Memphis is using the Pac-12, Teresa Gould, to, up their profile for, let's say, the Big 12? Yes. Or, I don't know, maybe the ACC if they don't implode? Absolutely. I think to me, there is some truth to what is happening with Memphis. But in Ross Dellinger's story, I was surprised just to learn a few things. One, what a hotbed of a football TV market Memphis is. I mean, we talk about adding markets and televisions and views and all that for college football, and how attractive you can make something like the new Pac-12 to viewers, ESPN and others, for late night programming. Well, Memphis would certainly fit that bill, as Ross Dellinger writes. They have ranked in the top 10 market for quite some time for college football viewing, Memphis, Tennessee. Now, again, maybe that's maybe a lot of people that are Tennessee Volunteer fans that like, watching, that live in Memphis. That's certainly a case, or just a big viewership there for Memphis football. They have had a very successful football program for a long time, winning seasons 8 of their last 9. Not to mention their basketball program. I do think they might be in some trouble right now, but whatever. They've had a wonderful basketball program, 11 Sweet 16 appearances. You add that now to San Diego State, who's recently in the Final Four. You got yourself a pretty good basketball program. Again, it's football that drives everything, but you can't look past what basketball can do. I think the most important thing here with Memphis, as Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports points out, is money. Money. They've got a massive, powerful booster. Huge. He is the founder, the chairman of FedEx, by the name of Fred Smith. He just pledged, in this new day and age of college athletics and football, what is it? It's about money. Who's got the most money to attract players? All right. And he is that guy. He has pledged $25 million. $25 million over the next 5 years for their NIL program. All right. So he's got the money to spend so they can attract players and get talent. And so anytime you want to bring somebody to the program, you want them to be relevant, and you want them to be able to field, competitive sports programs, football and basketball in particular. Fred Smith in Memphis, they check that box. So if you bring on Memphis, you're going to likely then bring on Tulane, UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, and then the last one would be South Florida. We mentioned jokingly about South Florida. They're playing Miami this weekend. I'm a big Bulls fan because I want them to beat Miami, and they're getting 17. But South Florida's had a good football program for many years. It's not ideal because it's not West Coast football, and I think some of the allure to the revamping of the Mountain West and just rebranding it to be the Pac-12, because that's what they're doing. Don't let anybody fool you. I don't think people are being fooled with what they're doing. They're just using the name, the logo, the brand Pac-12, but they're just taking on a bunch of Mountain West teams. Would I prefer to UNLV to be added? Air Force, Utah State? Yeah, probably, because then it keeps it more of a geographical conference rather than now you're flying across country and playing all these other teams. Great road trips, by the way, no doubt about it. One thing that was at least encouraging about it was to hear Ross Dellinger write, and we've talked to Canzano about this as well, and he's mentioned the same thing, that once they kind of get through football, one thing that will be attractive is the basketball conference because of adding Memphis and the San Diego State, and Colorado State's good, and Boise State's a good basketball program. Washington State, certainly with Kyle Smith, he's no longer there, obviously, has been a good team there as well the last few years, is now turning their attention there to Gonzaga, and how attractive Gonzaga would be of entering this conference once they figure out football. And Dellinger writes that Gonzaga is expected to be a target for the Pac-12 once they figure out football. I like that. And if that's tied into Memphis, then I'm all in. And if it all fails and they've got to turn their attention to UNLV and Air Force and Utah State, I'm okay with that as well. I think ultimately it's a win-win situation. Sounds like it's more of a win if you can get Memphis to jump on board because of maybe later down the road of attracting Gonzaga, which would be then a great basketball conference. But it will all play out. It'll probably change a million different times. All right, that's it for Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One in North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. That is it for us today, boys and girls. Thank you. 2 weeks in the books of doing this live. I hope you're enjoying it. Feedback is always welcome. Puck at PuckSports.com. Send it my way on Twitter, Puck2040. What do you like? What do you don't like? You can also leave comments in the YouTube section there as well. Try to get back to as many of you as I possibly can. A reminder, all this will be uploaded around 1 o'clock, a little after 1 o'clock, in case you missed anything, came in a little bit late to the show. Big thanks to all of our guests today. Jim Moore, who joins us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Troy Wins, our handicapper. Go visit TroyWins.com. Go sign up for Puck the Picker, the Pick'em Pool up at PuckSports.com. And, of course, Chris Egan there from King 5. Everyone have a fabulous weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. And, as always, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!